Oh, it's actually brighter than I thought it'd be. It does help I actually open the window over there. Although, arguably not by terribly much. How are you guys? How is your Saturday? Not been up too terribly much on my end. Has, lurked in a stream. Work on sock a little bit. Hey! Wasn't sure if you were lurking. How else? Also, I have tea. Although tea is slightly overly sweetened. That was my fault. I'd arguably take out like half a spoon of sugar on that one. Oh wells. But yeah, so Saturday stream title should be me making a hat. Because my mom wanted a hat. I think I mentioned this the other day. Yeah, knitting a hat. Cool. Yay! I did that earlier, but I just wanted to double check I actually pressed save on that. Or else things would be weirdly confusing. I was gonna work on the sock, but then I'm like, no. I don't feel like it on stream today. So, hat. Which, let me sit here and chat with you for a moment while I cast on Rest of Stitches. Also, you can probably tell this is not a hat for me, given the color of choice. Trying to get my yarn set. Working with 2 small balls and no... Oh! And they're doing the roll away very quickly. Yeah. I don't really have yarn balls. Although, arguably, if you have, like, something plastic, you can put that in. Like, a wee little plastic bowl or something that you're not using and is clean, obviously. That should probably do well. All over the... Yeah. 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 I could definitely foresee that. That's why I prefer to have my yarn in cakes until I can't cake it anymore. Although, arguably, if I ever used a yarn cake from the outside, pretty much I wouldn't have to do a thing. Alright, how many stitches do I have? I haven't even been counting. This is arguably, because this is going to be stockinette, I'd say like 80 stitches about. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I know you guys can't see this. 35, 40, 45, 50. Cycle containers, feeling too lazy to get up and get one. Ah, fair. It happens. That is completely fair. Alright, it's 50. So I'm gonna need a 30 more. I don't want to get this done before I got started, but I hadn't thought about it. And I was like, oh yeah, I should probably deal with that. Maybe, possibly, at some point. Also, what are you making? Or are you using using it for like a scrap sort of project, like, scrap blanket or hat, or whatever the case may have you. Yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna... Although I'll have to turn on the light. I've been wanting to avoid that. Oh well. Let's see. Flip down here. Have light on. Can't wait to replace this damn thing. Ta-da! Cause like, yeah, face camera's bright, but down here is not so much. Because simply scrap busting, yay! Scrap busting is always nice. Although I always feel like at least half the time where you're just like scrap busting, you end up needing more yarn for the project, and it's just like, this kind of defeats the purpose intended. But yeah, as you can see, not me kind of colors, although I did buy this yarn. This is like a dusty rose pink color, which, given this is kind of muted, this is probably the only reason why I had bought it back when I bought it. What is this? Loops and Thread Impeccable, I believe. Yeah, I got this in Michael's a couple years ago. Five, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 10 more. Slightly long tail, but whatever. I think I have enough of the two colors to do a scarf, hoping it would be enough for a matching hat, but not counting on it. There. But at least we'll get a scarf out of it. So that's something. And maybe you might have, a hat already that could, potentially match similarly enough. Maybe. I'm gonna count again, even though I know I only needed 10 left. Oops. $76. 4 more. No worries. 2, 3, and 4. Normally I just do a casual, what's its face? Casual long tail, but I've been doing the, what's the word? German twisted cast on to make sure it has enough stretch to it. But given it's stuck in it, it should be fine. I would arguably be more inclined for, like, say if I were doing a colorwork hat, like one of my heart hats or variety of patterns. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 81. Ah. Why? But let me double check for like the 5th time just to be sure. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80. Okay, cool. Hey, Caledon, how goes? Casting on for a hat, so I'm just double checking I have the proper amount of stitches going on here. I hope Saturday's treating you well. There it is. Alright, and... haven't knit a hat in a little while, so my brain is just like, although I know it's not going to be anything difficult. Playing some Dwarf Fortress on and no clue what that is. Is that tabletop or video game? I presume video game. There it is. Always a starting roll. It's kind of a pain in the ass whenever you have to start. It's a PC game. Okay. That makes sense. I was like, it sounds like a name of a, tabletop game could be too, but it's like, tabletop games you kind of have to pay good attention to. Sure. Fair. Making a dwarven fort, and you have to keep the dwarves safe, happy, and protect. Ah, okay. So basically, one of those, hey, you have to do a thing, and then make sure nothing goes wrong, or at least stays wrong for too long. Because a myriad of things could go wrong. Ba-da-da-da-da. Oh, that's about spitting out my usual time. Although I really should say Saturday too, instead of just plus sometimes. I think I worded it that way to give myself the ability to cancel if I ever need to. I don't want to make it seem mandatory for my brain. Yeah. Yay! Glad you have acquired a bowl to use for your wee little bits of yarn. So they'll start running away. Jane! Thank you for the resub for 26 months. I was like, wait for it. There we go.
Yarn sir yarn yarn CR hi yarn sir yarn yarn.
It's gonna just say that. Cool. How goes? How was your Saturday? Just got started on knitting a hat. My mother wanted a hat. Let's see. I mean, I got the book, but I just want to at least spin the wheel and see what's up with that. So, let's see what the wheel has to offer. And gonna try and yay. I knew this was gonna happen eventually, so given you sent me the non-holographic ones, I guess I'm gonna give you a holographic sticker then. Okay. Although I think I've definitely sent you stuff where you at least have gotten one already, but there you go. I knew it was gonna happen eventually. I called it. I'm playing a mod that changes the game so it's Super Mario themed. Huh! That is hilarious. Also, very amusing. Ah! And let's open this upside down. Cool. What color you want? I'd presume green, but, you know. I figure you want to surprise me sometimes, so I try not to presume. Oh gosh, that first half was terrible. Terrible, terrible penmanship. Let's see, holographic sticker. It's a good thing I made a couple of cards. So I could just, like, do that and probably put it into the mailbox nearby. If not tomorrow, probably Monday. Oh, Peapod. Nice. It is green, so I was right, but it's a lovely light green. I might get your card over again. Don't know. I checked my informed delivery, but it doesn't look like I'm getting any mail today, so like I said, I expect next week. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you resubbing, as always. 26 months, man. That happened quickly. I was like, weren't you just 2 years? That was 2 months ago. Alright, so let's hide this wheel. Yeah, they have a section for letters, like, letter mail, because they scan the stuff, and then a part for the packages. So, it would show up. So I would know beforehand whatever is coming over here. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And to the face here. Whee! I mean, arguably, on a chance they couldn't be wrong, or they might have missed something, but yeah, usually it's typically accurate. So, yeah. Nothing should be coming here today, so like I expected, probably sometime next week. Also, I was looking at mixed media sketchbooks, and it's like, a lot of them do not have like that high of a thickness. So I was looking on Amazon, and it's like, basically, if I want the thickness I want, I would have to get like watercolor specifically. But I kind of don't want, watercolor paper. I want smooth paper, so it's just like an annoying balance. I'm just like, why? Bams! I've heard yeah, I already have that. Angel Fox had put me to that. But it's just, it's a bit of money. That's my problem. Because, yeah, I don't get, like, anything more than, like, $20 when it comes to a sketchbook. And depending on the size you want, and I'm shooting for around, like, 8 by 8 inches. That'll mean, it's gonna be a pretty penny. Also, how are you? How is your weekend going? I am working on a hat I just started, so this is the very annoying first round to the hat, and then things should hopefully move up just a wee bit. I always hate starting hats. Starting most things, because when you cast on, or at least when I do, I have a propensity to cast on a little bit tightly. Although it's not so bad as it used to be, but definitely still tight enough that it's just like, it makes the first round slightly irritating to start, and then, it evens out from there. So it's a temporary annoyance, but an annoyance nonetheless. Come on, there it is. Almost done with this run also. Is it me or is this thing a little blurry for my liking? Let's see. Properties. I had the sharpness up a little bit. Although, wait, why is it back there? I knew this looked a little blurry. The hell, man? No, that's... Well, actually, yeah. That's better. I was just like, wait, that is not the usual sharpness I have it on. That's a little bit blurry. Because it was. At least I fixed it. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to getting back to the topic of sketchbooks. If I want mixed media, I'm definitely going to avoid Canson, given I already have their watercolor paper. Because just like, it feels like there's no point in buying, you know, a sketchbook from them if I'm already going to have their watercolor pads. Like, I still have 2. Well, arguably 1.5, but yeah, makes no sense. I would get the Elos, but that is currently out of stock. I suspect that's not going to come back into stock until near Christmas. The Be Creative Mixed Media paper is decent. Render, I don't know about that one. Which, I still have pages in my sketchbook, but it's just, you know, I want to have new sketchbook before old one is done. Is a Nobi. Ooh, that's helpful. Because I do have alcoholic markers. Not a huge set, but you know, the Ohu or Ow, however you say it. That's always a weird brand to say, but I believe, you know, what, they're Hawaiian? Or at least the name is Hawaiian. I am not sure. So don't quote me on that, but that's my belief. Because I vaguely remembered something like that. Yay! And got them wrapped. Started the next pair. Trying to... Good luck! I know that can be a very annoying thing sometimes, so... I can definitely... I know your pain. I tend to not do 2 at a time. I've done it like once, maybe twice. But this is back when I wasn't using the stuff I was using. Ooh, what brand? Yeah, alcoholic markers are not, you know, the medium I typically gravitate towards. I don't hate them, but it's just more of... I would definitely need some, you know, marker paper of some kind. Or something similar. In order to facilitate, you know, using it. Although I did use in the Elos. Although the only thing is that Elos, their paper is not acid-free, which is the only issue. Because, you know, that means they'll basically degrade over time. But, you know, if you keep it in, like, a well enough setting, it probably, you know, wouldn't, you know, fall apart for, like, 50 years or so. Maybe. Figured you meant good. No worries. Let's see. Actually, while I'm sitting here, Stillman and Byrne. Not familiar with that brand, but that doesn't mean too much, because I haven't branched out. Like, this is literally going to be my 3rd sketchbook. Words. Words are cool. Ooh. Okay, pocket. That's 3.5 by 5.5. No, that is too tiny, but they should have other sizes. Okay, 3.5 by 5. Oh, okay, yes, that's what they have. Ooh. Ooh. 270 GSM. Nice. Alright, 7.5 by 7.5. How much? $32. Why? It's Amazon, so I shouldn't be surprised. Ugh. But 8 by 10 is less than that? That makes no sense. That is stupid. Thank you for that follow, can't see. Buena Sweet? Which, is that how you say it? Blick, yeah, but the thing is, I don't have a Blick nearby me, so I'd have to ship it to my house, which is why I'm just like, But thank you for that follow. Hopefully you were having a good Saturday so far. I'm staring at Sketchbook because I want to get a new one. And then there's also knitting a hat. If you want to chat with us, I hope you're doing. Thank you. Do you happen to do any crafting? If so, feel free to share with us. Yeah, but I have no intention of buying $45 worth of stuff. I have enough art supplies, and I don't buy art supplies that regularly. Like, I feel like I have a good enough assortment of things for my own personal use. I just draw. Drawing is cool. There's no just anything. Also sewing. Nice. Sewing is one of those things that are not in my wheelhouse personally. Like, I mean, I mend my socks, but that's about it, really. But I do a variety of, crafting things. So, the gambit is essentially knitting, as you can see, crocheting, spinning, like turning fiber into yarn, weaving, very rarely, chainmail, as you can see here. Also, the lower one's purple, camera's being the camera. Digital, traditional art, and sometimes games. So, I like doing a lot of things, because I like having options. Alright. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't Mobius somewhere and I didn't notice. Also, it's hard to say Mobius and not think of Loki now. Even though I did not watch that. Thank you. Although, arguably, I've been half thinking about changing things. Although I might wait till, next year. Just because it makes no sense to change things right before I take like a 3-week break. Well, arguably 2 or 3. Depends. They're decent for mixed media. Okay. Just wanted to make sure at least get some ribbing done on this hat. Because I don't want to have to, look back and forth too many times just because, I unfortunately only have one monitor, so whenever I switch to something else, makes me lose chat. So I try to avoid that. But I do appreciate the suggestions, though. Because I definitely do want, have a mixed media sketchbook just because I do like having an assortment of materials to use in my sketchbook. So it's pretty much the best direction for me to go in. Alright, so I'm gonna do this third round here, which, yeah, this is the Ribbing Forever show, because ribbing always takes a while. Which actually, the hat's actually a little bit bigger than this. It's just that given, 16-inch. I was just like, honestly, the easiest, which it is really. 16-inch cable. to deal with stuff like this. Also, anybody new here, my Linktree link just popped up, so if you want to have a check out my various social media. So, Instagram, there's YouTube, haven't done anything on that in a while. I should get back to that, but it's hard to juggle so many things. But there's that, my Etsy, which I do some handmade stuff, like stitch markers, dish towels, keychains, I believe face scrubbies. Those are the things I forget. And dish scrubbies as well. You can check that out. And I believe my Ko-fi is also on there, which has some updates, and there's also a small shop there, but that's definitely more digital because that has wallpapers, donut pins, and heart hat pattern that I'd made up a couple years ago, available to purchase, which it's only the adult size, large. I need to get the other sizes tested at some point, which I think I had started like figuring out how to do that, but then kind of got sidetracked. 2x2. Oh, so the entire back is 2x2 and then cable on the front. Interesting. So that should hopefully even it out because cables cinch in and then the ribbing should be able to stretch, which is a nice balance. But yes, if you want to check out all the places I am, check out the Linktree and you will see all the stuff. Although I think I'm going to change that into one of those card links. I would... I know! It is so absolutely beyond us to ever get sidetracked. It's like, ooh, pretty thing. What? Where? I'm not that bad at times, but it can't be helped. Ah, no, don't do that. There we are. I'm gonna probably go... Let's see, how far... Wow, wasn't paying attention. Normally I do like just about an inch for the brim, but I think I'm gonna do about, say, almost double that. In this case, 2 inches instead. Because I sometimes feel like 1 inch is probably too short. But it's just ribbing takes a while sometimes. If you're not doing something, you know, while doing it, it kind of gets real boring real quick. And yeah, it ain't fun. Also, we are slowly creeping up to that 1K. I'm hoping the cable and ribbing work to be able to get... It should, arguably, because there's typically, let's see. When you do cables, they typically have pearls on the sides of it, depending on what sort of cable that you're doing. Like, you know, Celtic cable. Cables, oh god, seed stitch. Seed stitch. It's not terrible, but it's tedious. It's kind of like 1x1, except, you know, it switches. So there's kind of a pattern, but at the same time, it's like... It's hard to get into the rhythm of it, at least for me personally. So it tends to not be a favorite. Also, my eye. Why does my eye itch? Alright, let's see. Did I? Okay. I thought I split it. Although, even though I'm not fond of Seed Stitch, but it's a pretty look to it. So, you know. As an end product, it's arguably worth the terribleness at times, but yeah. Just not my thing. Pattern in a book I received and thought it'd be compliment. Ooh. That's always nice. Also, at least you have somewhere to refer to. Yay, knitting books. Ah, come on. Alright. I shared it. Alright, Discord's right here and it's open, so I'll be able to grab it from right here. Where are we? Project. Oh, that is pretty. I love it when it's just like, you know, bright colors, like pops of color in like, you know, a neutral tone yarn. Really pretty. You mind if I share in chat? I can just grab the link and just put it in here. Which, let me check. Alright. Okay, I could. Because sometimes I don't get the link properly, and you end up sharing the Discord instead, the channel, unintentionally. So I usually like to make sure. That's the yarn Bams is talking about. It's pretty. And yes, hi bot, I'm talking in my own channel. Wow, who would have thought? Oh, okay, yeah. There we go. Yeah, the mic is right there in the way of that thing. I cannot wait till I can replace that. I really do need to replace this light just because the neck, the support in there is gone and it's... I have to hold it up and it's in my face the entire time. Which, later in the stream once it gets dark, because, you know, when I end and all that, it's fine. Otherwise, it's annoying. Lighting is, yes. Especially where I'm seated, which is why I have this lamp in the first place. Because windows in relation to where I sit means here does not get really good light unless it's stupid bright outside. Like, it's a real bright and sunny day. So, like, say, summer. That is usually a good time for natural lighting. And also, yeah, it's really, really pretty. Which, hold on, let me see, did you say what yarn that was in there? No, you don't. What kind of yarn is that, if you mind me asking? Because I would love to have that sort of yarn for socks. Although I have no need to be buying yarn right now. I'm literally spinning yarn for socks as we speak. And I have a couple more spins I can do for socks. So it's like, I have no reason to be asking about that. But yet, here we are. I can't help it. But it's pretty. Alright, and do this so I can actually see things. That's helpful. There we go. I forgot I hadn't brought up OBS again, and I was just like, wait, what am I missing here? Oh. I don't know. The thing that tells me where my hands are? You mean that thing? Apparently, I'm just like full-on sarcasm today. I can't help it. It is my default at times. Also, let me look at the other, sketchbook that you recommended. Oh, whoops. Don't do that. Because you still have it in chat, so I can just do that. Piece paper. Heavyweight marker paper is acid-free, natural white, 110 pounds. Not bad. Yeah, 110. Let me see what this thing is again. I think... Ah, son of a... Whoops. I'll get that later. But yeah, the pad I currently have with the Canson paper, I'm pretty sure is like 120, so that's actually really close. Also, of course, Blick comes up. Drawing book, marker book, mixed media book. Let's see. Sorry. Oh, 140. Never mind. I knew it was 300 grams, but grams to pound ratio when it comes to paper, I tend to not be well versed at it. Also, whoops. And there goes that. Ugh, come back. Oh, I see it. This is why I try to not move things too much. I just do that. Oh my god. Oh, it's better. Yay! I promise I'm not always this much of a klutz, I promise. Alright, blah, 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 blah. 93 pounds. No, I don't want 93 pounds. Anything under 100 pounds when it comes to mixed media means you can't layer it too much, which I do not enjoy. Which, even with the Canson, you can't really layer too much, like a couple times, and then it'll start pilling on you, and it drives me crazy, and I hate it. It's a whole thing. I'm very picky about my materials. Although at the same time, I tend to not want to shell out, like, huge amounts of money when it comes to it. Which, arguably, you should not have to spend, like, you know, tons and tons of money to get anything resembling good quality supplies. And that goes for not just art supplies, but anything, like, say, you know, knitting, weaving, crocheting. Arguably that and knitting are really close to each other when it comes to materials. But you get the gist. Like, it should not be that hard to be that reasonable in pricing to get good stuff. I mean, yes, there's gonna be, like, top-of-the-line stuff with, like, 14 karat gold flecks in there or whatever. I probably wouldn't even dream of looking in there. That stuff, fine, but, you know, definitely should be a good assortment of things within, you know, most people's budgets. About the Sable watercolor brushes are still made by hand in the UK and their prices. Sable? Like sable horses? Although actually that wouldn't be far-fetched, so I shouldn't be that shocked if it is horsehair brush. Although horsehair brush, I feel like Those sorts of brushes are really good at getting away, eraser shavings if you're not using a kneaded eraser. Which I do enjoy my kneaded eraser. Animal that looks like a squirrel. Huh. Okay. Sorry, I had to drink the rest of that or else forget that it existed. Because it's starting to get almost lukewarm. There's only a specific time they can be. Okay. It was way cheaper than make your own things than getting store-bought. Yeah. Arguably, I'd say sometimes the quality wasn't there. Like, Red Heart, when you first started getting Red Heart, and it was like... the stuff itched like no one's business. And, throughout time, the process has gone to make the yarn, more palatable, softer, and less, skin irritating. And store-bought because of that. That makes sense. I would argue commercialization, but given commercialization has been a thing for a while, the only thing I can think of is the fact that, enough stores ship out their making process outside of the country and send it off to places where it's they'll get it made for stupid cheap and thus lower the prices, although they'll still overcharge in order for them to get the most profit that they can get out of them. Which is a whole thing. And not want to pay the taxes in regards to that. And have offshore bank accounts. And I'm getting on my soapbox. Learning to do all the things comes very handy. And to ask people how to do the things once you know how to do the things. Okay, I thought the sun's coming through. No, come on. There we are. Probably at close to an inch. I never did pick up a tape measurer, but I know from at least about an inch. I can just check with my thumb. And since I'm planning to go about maybe 2 inches, might do 1.5 inches, just because it takes a while to get the ribbing to go that long. Also, unrelated, but I was playing Hades last night, and I almost won. I got the farthest I'd gotten in the game. And I almost won. And I was just like, no, I was so close. Because I lost in the last boss fight. Ugh. I was playing on my Switch, not on the PC. PC I've not played as much. But I'm so glad I kicked Theseus's ass, because he's annoying and smug. Which, given the legends and stuff, he kind of had his head up his ass, so it fits! And I was so glad, because he was a boss I kept losing to. Him and the Minotaur. Or like a co-boss. The Minotaur I was fine with, but it's more of the Theseus given he can shoot me, I think he can auto-lock on me at times, so basically I'm running around the arena dodging, and then, he can call the help of a god, but it's not always the same god. Usually it's Ares. At least twice it's been Ares, the last I remember. But this last time where I finally kicked his ass, it was Poseidon. Interestingly enough. Because I thought it was always Ares, but apparently not. But yeah, I had been discussing with somebody in another Discord. I was like, because they're like, wonder who the last boss is, and I was just like, it's probably, his dad, which Zagreus' dad is Hades, hence the title. And then they were like, I'm not going to confirm or deny that. And I was just like, okay. And then when I saw it, I was like, I fucking knew it. I knew it was him. Which I managed to make it longer than I thought I would. Because I had like one bonus life left. So I knew I had a chance. But it was going to be very difficult because, I hadn't seen his moveset before. So, Also, he had a thing where he went invisible and tried to get you, and it was like, you son of a... That's one of those you kind of have to keep your distance and figure out things. So long-range attacks would definitely be better, but, keep on your guard and also dodge. And a whole bunch of stuff. It's a lot. Which, you guys will see on Friday. Not Friday. Friday after next. For the stream charity thing. Because I think I'm just gonna have Hades be Friday and then, GeoGuessr on Saturday. Which, let me double check I'm saying that correctly. I'm pretty sure it's Friday after next, because it's the 14th, right? Yes. Friday after next. Cool. Yay! I know my days of the week. Awesome. Also, what are we? Okay, yeah. I have not gone past my break time as of yet. Awesome. Because sometimes I just end up blabbing and talking, and then, poof, over an hour's gone by. Which, that was yesterday. Repeatedly. Which, that is also a good thing. Means definitely enjoying doing the talking and the doing of things, so, that's good. But it also means I should be paying closer attention to things. Yeah, it's split a little bit. Luckily, this is not split terribly much. There's that, at least. But yeah, Hades is a fun game, but also kind of stressful. But yeah, I was so enthused that I got so far. But I've been saving up, in-game currency for an extra life for a while. Because I had 2 of them. But given the difficulty, the dodging and all that stuff, I kind of needed the 3rd. Which I really did, and it came in handy. So I'm glad I finally got that. But yeah, I was so close! But at least I know what's to come now. But I always kind of find that bit where it's like oddly reminiscent of like, movies where it's like, where they send out the minions to go do the work and it's like the good guy keeps kicking their asses and then it's just like the main person finally just gets up and is like, fine, if no one else can do it, I will do it myself. That's what I feel it's kind of reminiscent of. Also, am I talking a mile a minute? If so, my bad. I'm excited about a thing. Also, let's move this back. Because I know I knocked into it at least once earlier. So it probably went up a little bit higher than where it was supposed to be. Oops. Come on. But yeah, I'm probably not going to be working on this hat off stream just because it's straight stockinette. Because I really do want to finish those socks. Just so I can send those out. Because I need to get those sent out soon as I can possibly get them sent out. Just because, you know, shipping be absolute garbage at this point in time of the year. So usually have to wait a couple more days to get to where it's supposed to be. Ba-da-da-da-da. Oh, okay. I thought it was important. Because I have my watch connected to my phone. Normally I have it on Do Not Disturb while I stream, but one of the parents call, I'll probably have to, you know, pick that up. Although, I am not sure it will pick it up because my phone's been weird, so I think I've been saying this like at least a couple of weeks, but I'm gonna need a new phone, so might do that this month. Which I was hoping to not need to do, but yeah, probably gonna need a new phone, which I'm thinking of the OnePlus, one of those OnePlus Nord, what is it, N100 or something like that? Just because it has double the RAM and, is it double the space? Yeah, pretty much double the phone space, although I know it's not going to be exactly 64 gigs, because, you know, operating software and all that stuff is going to be in there, so less than 64, but definitely, you know, more than what I currently have. Although the thing I have noticed is that phones now, pretty much almost all of the, you know, budget phones, they're all going to the USB-C type charger. Which I've had one when I had that Sony phone a while back, but I noticed, like, pretty much all of the phones that I was looking at, all of them had USB Type-C chargers, and I was just like, oh, so we finally come around to this. Because I think they predicted that that was going to be a thing a couple of years ago, which, to a degree, it makes sense. Because it's just like, you don't have to worry about the little prongs when it comes to the Type A, like, getting pushed in there, and thus not allowing the thing to charge once that happens, which I hate that. Very much irritates me. So I get it, but at the same time, it does make things annoying. But also it means you don't have to worry about which side you need to plug it in, because either way, you can plug it in, and it should feasibly work. Although I suspect they're gonna have one of those, hey, you have to use this specific charger or else it'll slow charge. Because I've noticed that with my tablet, which has USB Type-C. And it's like, if it's not, you know, the one that comes with it in the box, it's just like, oh, we're not gonna fast charge. It's gonna take like 6 hours. Message annoys me every single time. Also, oh, whoops. I did the thing I said I wasn't gonna do. I'm gonna sit here and blab and then forget its break. Which it was 6 minutes ago. Because I like to take a break every hour to avoid having my body complain about things. Especially my neck. Because it does not like me hunching like, you know, I am. Alright, so hat ribbing so far. This should definitely be about an inch. I start, yeah, almost an inch. So, yeah, I can go about another ½ inch, and then I'd say starting with a stockinette. So, we can do that after I take my break. So, I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Need to wash my cup. Had to go help the small younger brother do things. So, yeah, I'm gonna finish this round and then basically stockinette time for a while for this hat. Which, it's not gonna be just this color, so definitely at least at some point there'll be change up to another color after a while of stockinette. Which is helpful, given the fact that it's not terribly much in the complexity category. Which I usually prefer at least some level of complexity to my projects. Come on. Almost there. But yeah, I definitely am in the mood to knit hats. I'll be real honest with you. This is arguably scratching an itch in that category. Which I realized I had one of the heart hats that I made in purple. I can't seem to find it anywhere. I need to go look in the corner, see if it dropped somewhere. But given, you know, not terribly much in the way of space, it could disappear. I suspect it's stuffed in something, I just don't know where. Alright, yeah, we're almost there through this round. And then this is gonna grow a bit because stockinette's gonna puff it right back out. Also, I should probably unplug that. Guess someone forgot their phone and is charging in the kitchen. Although I think it should be fully charged by now. So let me just go plug that out. So it doesn't overcharge, because that's bad. Done. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. The thing with this is, given how I do my pearls, I have to knit through the back loop to make sure, you know, all the knit stitches are facing the correct way. So I kind of have to switch which way I'm doing my knit stitches for this setup round so they all face the same direction. The thing is, I wish I had more of this color. I would have to go to Michael's over where I normally would get it. I was literally about to say where it is, and I'm like, no, should not be doing that. That would give you an idea of where I live, and I'm very much not into sharing that on the internet. For obvious reasons. Nope. That's split. Come on. You can do it. Da 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 da. Can't believe it's gonna be another week already. I'm like, it's Sunday tomorrow. Start of a new week. Although, Japanese calendars start on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Which I always find interesting. Although I do wonder if that's like, potential religious significance, but I imagine no. So, I mean, given the whole, at least at one point, we all definitely operated on different calendars. And, the Gregorian calendar wasn't the calendar of choice. It's always stuff like that I find mildly interesting. Because it's always just like, how does one, not communicate, what's the word? Coexist. Is coexist the word I want? My brain says collaborate. Collaborate might work. But yeah, how does one collaborate? With other places if, there are times of the year and such are not the exact same. So you kind of have to plan a bit more strategically, what time of year you would trade such and such. Oops. And that ran under my fingernail. That was not a pleasant feeling. But luckily, it's size 10 needles, so it's not like it would stab me. So we have gotten to the knit the entire way around portion of this hat. Yay. So I can definitely keep my eye off it. Arguably, I could have kept my eyes off of it when we were doing the ribbing, but given the ribbing, I have to make sure that I'm doing the thing correctly. Still requires a little bit more focus, although at the same time I could just stare at OBS like I'm doing right now, and then I can still kind of see what the heck I'm doing. Alright. Trying to not use my finger to nudge the yarn off of this, because my finger will not like it after a while. Also, after this round, let me just double check the measurements on what's going on here with the brim. But it definitely should be about 1.5 inches. Which, Jane, if you're still here, I really have no idea how you managed to do 6 inches of that. No, twice. For hats. Like, I mean, yes, that'll allow for a bit more ability to adjust to the wearer. But yeah, nope. 6 inches is way too much ribbing. Also, unrelated to hat knitting, but I was watching a YouTube video, which, I tend to watch a lot of art YouTube, pretty much is where I lie, mostly. That and some, you know, history stuff. But yeah, other than that, pretty much art YouTube. And yeah, I was watching the video, and I was just like, why is it so clear and everything? Not that they have, like, crap quality, but it's usually not that clear. Which, I watch more on my tablet than on, you know, my laptop, so I figured that was why. And then I was like, oh, this is all the way up in HD. Like, full-on HD 1080, and I was like, that explains a lot. Which... I don't usually do it that high. I tend to have it at max 720. Which one is it before that? Like 480? But yeah, max is usually 720. Because usually a good chunk of my devices can't deal with, you know, full-on 1080 HD. Especially if you have multiple windows open, which I had. So I try to avoid doing that unless, like, you know, I need to see every little detail. Which, they were drawing bears in hoodies. It was so cute. I kinda want to draw something like that now. I'm just like, this is so cute. Also makes me kind of want to play around with my markers a bit, because I haven't played around with my alcohol markers in a bit. Because like I said, they are not the medium of choice for me. I don't hate them, but, you know, they take some getting used to. Although, for like a quick splash of color, they are very convenient. Like in comparison to, like, say, painting. It is definitely different. Also, I have not drawn really in pen since I drew in pen that month in October. And considering I bought, like, a box of a dozen of those pens, it's like, you're gonna need to use those. You know, like, if not now, maybe soon enough. And... which, don't get me wrong, I didn't like... words. I did like enjoying, drawing with them. But it's just, I tend to like flit about between medium and medium when it comes to art, so it's like I tend to rotate in and out. One medium to the next, so, my colored pencils, the Colorized pencils, because I like having that pop of color in the sketchbook. Plus, I feel like they don't, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't smudge as much when it comes to, putting it down. At least to my eyes. I could be wrong. But to me, they don't smudge as much, which... That's kind of why I don't use regular graphite pencils when I sketch. But also they're sketching in pen, which is also lovely. Then, of course, watercolor pencils, color pencils, because I have both wax and oil-based ones. But the oil-based ones I definitely layer a lot better than the wax ones, because, wax has buildup. So you're limited to how many layers you can put down, so you kind of have to plan what you're doing. Which that's a whole thing. Come on. And... Also, I'm pretty sure the light's gonna make me look like I'm squinting the entire time. If you can see my eyes. Although, arguably, it'll just reflect off my glasses. You can't really see them in the first place. It's like, no matter what, I can't win. Woohoo! Although it's probably a good thing that I don't have those transition lenses or whatever the case may have you. Because it'd basically be bright enough that it's like, it'd probably be somewhat in sunglasses mode. Which, I am not a sunglasses person, although I know they help protect your eyes. But, I would need prescription sunglasses, because without... my glasses on, my eyes tend to strain after a while. Especially if, it's sunglasses. So everything's like one colored, has that colored tint to it. Which I feel like it's like, at least a not needed expense. But, Ah, come on. Can do it. And OBS is whining about encoding overload once again, which I tend to ignore that because it usually doesn't mean anything. At least for me, it doesn't. Do. It's honestly kind of a shame this is not like self-striping yarn or something. At least have something to look forward to. But given how uniform the color is, it's like, nope. Do, 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 do. Almost through another round. There it is. Yeah, what did I say? About here, so... Oh, actually closer to 2 inches, at least according to this, although... Let's see. Yeah, about here is where it would arguably end. Yeah, it's actually really close to 2 inches. Given how this thing, like, kind of shrinks because of the 16-inch diameter, this is arguably probably going to be larger than that for, you know, adult size head. It makes sense. Yep, come on. There it is. No splitting, please. So since I had to get up, I'm staying a couple minutes past the 2-hour mark. And then I'm gonna get up, you know, actually wash those dishes I was supposed to wash an hour ago. Stretch and so on and so forth. Then should be back to do more of this for another hour. Yeah, probably better if I were there. I realize I'm like kind of out of frame. Well, not quite, but certainly closer to being out of frame rather than in frame. It's arguably not helpful. Yeah, definitely been in the mood to knit hats because, you know, fall, well, actually no, winter, more like now. Especially given it snowed here at least once or twice. Nothing that is stuck, thankfully, but, you know. Once it starts snowing, arguably, winter has arrived. Although, very glad it did not stick. So that means no one has to go outside and clean anything. But it does mean it's getting cold. Although certainly what I would give for not another random brief hailstorm happening. Because that was still a surprise. Because, again, not a thing that really happens, at least where I am. Hail is not, you know, common. So yeah, very much do not need that in my life any further. There it is. making sure I don't suddenly slip off a stitch somewhere because I am inclined to do that sometimes. Or there are times where it's like, I think I've knit the stitch, but it's like I've slid it to the next needle without pulling the yarn through. It's like, that's not how this works. Yarn is required for this whole knitting thing to, work like it's supposed to. Alright, so I'm gonna finish this round and then it shall be break time once again for us. Welcome back! I'm actually about to take my break once I finish this round. Also, yay! 4 more cards! Woohoo! You are getting there. You can do it! Ah, there it is. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've only stayed like a couple more minutes just because I had to get up and do something briefly. So I was like, let me just stay a couple more minutes and then take my break. Or else I'd literally be in the middle of the break as it is. So, consolation, I guess. But yeah, we've gotten past a ribbing. And we are now in basically knit around for a while territory, which that is not bad. I figure I should at least be able to get through the ribbing portion for today and just see how far I get in the knit round and round in a circle. And it's making me think of a song. Well, song and a cover of said song. Oh, round and round I go, spun out over you. Which I think, yeah, Luther Vandross did a cover of this. But, what was the name of the group that did that song originally? I have that. I have the song on my phone. I should know this. My brain is like, the distinction? It's like, that doesn't sound right. Alright, let me check. Now that I finish this round, because that's gonna bug me until Friends of Distinction, I think. Let me check. Ba-da-da-da-da. Friends of Distinction. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. No, never gonna win. Never real. Rolling around till I drop. No? Although, why did I space that? Okay, go in circles. The Friends of Distinction. Okay, yay! I arguably like Luther's cover more. Not that they were terrible. I just arguably like his, although you can definitely hear the difference there. It's like, Friends of Distinction were arguably, in that song, more almost a cappella. And then Luther Vandross, the production behind him was, definitely more slick. So yeah, you can definitely hear, the difference between them. Anyway, I'm gonna go be a music nerd person over here and take my break. Let's see. There we go. There, I have a face. Hi anybody coming in, or who has come in, during the break. I am currently knitting a hat. Nothing fancy. Already got through the frebbing, which is nearly 2 inches long. So basically now I'm basically knitting around in circles for a bit. Which we're gonna switch colors at some point. Don't think it's gonna be on stream, but there will be switching to a darker, it's like almost hot pink. Pink is not one of my favorite colors. I don't hate it, but pink is not one of my favorite colors. Although, I was responsible for this yarn purchase, so... yeah. But given the demureness of the color, probably why I bought it. But it's like, it depends on me and pink. I don't like pink being the star of, you know, an article of clothing, but, you know, as an accent, I am perfectly fine with it. Yeah. Uh-oh. There it is. I might try once I'm done with the silk spinning, although that's probably gonna be a next year thing, I suspect. I might try spinning more acrylic. If not that, maybe start spinning one of the, what's its face? The rovings that I got from We Crochet. Wool of the Andes. 'Cause I have one in red and one in, like, minty sort of bluish color. Like an ice blue, almost, I feel like. I'd have to go look at it to verify what the heck that color is. Because it's been sitting in my plastic tote for a bit, so I'm just like, not quite sure what the color is off the top of my head right now. Yeah, I might do one or two of those. Especially given I have a bit of couple of braids of acrylic to spin. Which, and speaking of next year, I'm not sure if I'm going to do Sock Madness next year. I might skip it. Which, given I've only done it 2 years, but it depends on how I feel. But it's just given, you know, even though it's fun, you get socks out of it, it's also arguably, a bit stressful at times. So I'm just like, might not be all in on this third one. We will see. Depends on some things. How about if I don't split the yarn? That would be great. Oh, also, I'm not sure if anybody's seen this commercial, although I know some of you do not have regular TV, so it's fine. But, there was a commercial for, apparently their ABC is having this, like, boy band Christmas special-ish thing. So it's like they're having a whole bunch of boy bands together. So, say... oh, I forgot New Kids on the Block. Yeah, they're in it too. New Kids, Boyz II Men, which, Boyz II Men, always a nice get. Let's see. Majority of NSYNC. I'm not sure if Backstreet Boys are there. Is it O-Town? O-Town's the other one. And I was just like, yeah, they're clearly trying to get this for the ratings. Because it's like, you would not put this many boy bands in a one thing unless you were trying to, you know, get some attention on there. And I was like, when I saw it, I was like, the commercial, I was literally said, is this like a boy band Christmas? And I was pretty close to what the title was. But I was just like, oh my god. You guys are completely unshameful. Although I do hope they paid them. Because, you know, ABC, Disney is their parent company, so, you know, not exactly, best of friends with them. I mean, yes, they have some nice movies and whatnot, which Anastasia's a Disney princess, because, you know, they own that too. Which is hilarious, given I used to get confused, because, like, it was similar to, stylistically speaking, almost like Disney. At the time, because this was, like, what, 95, 98, somewhere in there, when Anastasia first came out. Which, that is honestly one of my favorite movies. But yeah. Not a fan of Disney. I hope all the bands actually get paid. Although, that's not their main issue. It's more of the fact that Disney likes to, you know, acquire companies and basically, you know, essentially destroy, you know, the stuff, like shut down the companies, essentially, and then basically get all the rights, so it's like only they can show the thing, and it's like, it pisses me off immensely when they do that, which is a lot. So it's like, I'm gonna back away and not really get invested in anything you do anymore. Because you kinda suck. Although, arguably no companies, or at least especially huge monoliths, like Disney and such, their hands aren't clean, so, To a degree, you kind of gotta pick your battles, but at the same time, it's just like, just because I enjoy this material at times, like, doesn't mean I respect them as a company as a whole. I mean, given, you know, who Walt Disney was as a person, which, you know, not the greatest human being, put it mildly. Not a shock his company ended up like this. Although, with or without him, it probably would have ended up the same. I argue. I love how I go from boy bands to fuck Disney, all within the breath of like 5 minutes. But I haven't watched anything new Disney in a while, even though, you know, thanks to Jane, I do have access to Disney Plus, but it's just one of those. I know it's there, but it's just, given how I feel about MCU, it's like, I trying to not get invested at all. Because I don't want to get my hopes up and then, you know, absolutely dislike it. Or not go in the direction I like, which, you know, it happens. It's not like the writers are catering to me or anything, but it's just like, sometimes it's just like, what the hell were they thinking? But at the same time, they're also adapting from comic books, which, you know. If they don't do things some certain ways, little fanboys get their feelings hurt. And foam at the mouth at it online, so it's like, you can't win at all. Do I have any more of this yarn? That's gonna be a problem. I think I had done another small hat. I'm gonna have to go find that. It's probably best if I do that now, because this is not a ton of yarn. Thought I'd go a little bit longer than this, but slowly but surely going. Let me go find it. I swore I knew where it was. Gonna leave it right there, but gonna go look for this damn yarn. Vestiges of yarn. Unless no, I don't think I put it in this thing. Oh, it is in here. That explains a lot. I did not realize I'd put it in here. Okay. So I've been somewhat trying, well, more like my mother's trying to slowly get me to organize stuff to her liking. And it's irritating me. But yeah, let's see, yeah. Go from here. Pull from here. Come on. It's not a lot, arguably, but it should hopefully get me close enough to where I need it to be. But I'll be fine. Which this color's not discontinued, but just again, I just don't want to have to go to Michael's in order to get it. So, yeah. But it also means I'm going to need to weave in at least a couple ends when it comes to this thing. So that's fun. But it shouldn't be that terrible. Oops. Yep. I knew I might end up doing that. Come on. Come on. There it is. Ta-da! Alright. Also, yeah, it's probably best if I hold on to that like so to avoid anything getting yanked out. Oops. Come on. You can do it. Uh-oh. No! Why? Although I might be able to get it through. That's the top of the stitch there. Okay, I very much like you to not be tangled, please, and thank you. There we go. Whereas frogging, where I got that bit of yarn from, looks like it had got a little bit stuck. Sorry, I'm like really focused on this. What are you guys gonna be up to for the rest of your respective weekends? Me, probably sock, packaging up sticker to send out, which that shouldn't take me long. Also, hopefully working on the draw this in your style thing if I get a chance to. Because again, I only have till the 10th, and today is the 4th. So I kind of need to get a move on, like, now, in order to get that done in time. I haven't finished the liner, although I have a majority of it done. There are just bits I need to get done, and then I could start with the flat colors and then the shading. So yeah, basically working on things, maybe a small bit of gaming in between. Likely. Oops. My bad. Today seems to be the day of me hitting the camera, apparently. Which is not something I really need to be doing. Come on, you can do it. There we are. I imagine another round or two before I need to add on the other thingy yarn. Which, arguably, if it fits on, it should be able to. Although it's not that long, so I wouldn't be able to tell terribly much yet. Because I haven't gotten too far past the ribbing, have I? Yeah, I'd need it to be at least. Oops. Sorry. Need it to be at least an inch longer or so to get it to show how it would look. Also, no! How did I manage to do that? Ugh. I should just tie them so this stops happening. Da-da-da. Come on. There.
Hello? I have somebody to help take up. You finished?
Nope.
What time you coming on?
In about less than 20 minutes, so I could always pause and come help you with that. Alright. Let me quickly get through this round and then go deal with stuff because I'm apparently gonna be summoned to go do things. Goody. Hopefully it will not take long. Although I kind of wish you had waited another 20 minutes. But whatever. Yeah. That didn't... Jane, remember when I said that thing didn't show up? Guess what apparently was there? It must have not scanned in the thing. That's really weird. Also, I enjoy that Bugs Bunny stamp. So I guess I'm gonna go open that. Which, what did you put in there? That's definitely a bit padded. So, let me nip through this round, go help with groceries and such, and then I will be back. Come work on this some more. Almost done. Sorry about keeping having to disappear and reappear on you guys today. Yeah, come on. Don't do that. One, two. Alright, yeah. Leave the last stitch. And yeah. Be back. Hopefully it should not take me more than like 20 minutes. Then I'll come back and hang out with you guys some more. So hopefully it will not be interrupted again. But yeah, I'm gonna probably hang out here about 15 more minutes. So, wee bit more hatch, open what Jane sent me. Make sure I don't dox myself like an idiot in the process. Which I have scissors in front of me, so I could just cut it open from there. The envelope is really a lovely shade of red. Also, anybody who came in during that time I had to go help with things, thank you. Hello, hi, hopefully you're having a good Saturday. Wow, I was about to call it Sunday. Saturday afternoon. I'm here working on hat. Did you hear what I said earlier? Not sure if you saw what I said during the... right before I had to go help with stuff, but your thing did appear. Apparently, I guess they didn't scan. Or at least I never got an email. It was weird. They said there was nothing available. And normally by about 8 a.m., they're like, hey, this is what we have for the day. So, So yes, I have your mail. I know. I'm going to go a couple more rounds and then open it. Because I'm curious to see what's in there. I just want to do a wee bit more hat. Which, what is in here? It's like, I know stickers, but it's like, it feels a little padded. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's something I'm not expecting that is in there. Also, I'm very curious to see how the donut stickers came out. Yeah, why are we tangled? Why? Well, mainly because I paid no heed to the yarn when I was frogging it from the thing I pulled it from. Come on. You can do it. Also, how's it going on the cards? Have we made progress? I know you said 4 left. Also, I had the joy of getting some... what's its face? Hot chocolate mix. Hot chocolate with peppermint, which that is my favorite thing. So, I am overjoyed. Because I had been meaning to get some hot chocolate mix anyway, because that is a thing of the season I absolutely love. Especially with peppermint in it, because, you know, chocolate and mint are very, very complementary to each other. So, it's one of those things I absolutely adore having during the winter. Because I used to have, what is it? Chocolate mix and then steep some peppermint tea in there to, like, you know, do the same thing. So I'm glad they actually put those together. Also, let's see. I'm gonna see if... Okay, saw it, but I wasn't sure which one. Okay, good. It's my sturdy one. I was... Oh, no. Yeah, I think it's just the postal service is just slowed down a bit. That's likely the issue. Although, what, you would put it in the mail Saturday and give me, you know, Sunday right after that. If it doesn't go out Saturday, it would sit there on Sunday and then, you know, arguably it'd go on its journey about Monday. So, yeah, it arguably did take about the normal-ish amount of time it would take. I think it was just the timing of it. I remember you would put it in, like, Saturday afternoon. Alright, but once I get through, you know, this bit of yarn, which should not take me terribly long, might be this round where I use up this bit of yarn, and then I will open the mail. Also, it would be very weird if they take that long to send you something back with no postage. Although I imagine there's like a whole thing in place for that. Come on. Don't do that. Also, usually they don't need... How much postage did you put on this? Oh, okay, you put 2 forever stamps on there. Yeah, it probably weighs a bit. So anything like over an ounce, I think, in like physical mail, you'd probably need more stamps. So that makes sense. Also, I was trying to make sure I didn't show that on camera, which I did not. Cool. Am I? Yeah, I should be able to make it all the way around this round, arguably. Maybe. Oh, I should have plugged out my Switch when I got up to take my second break. I forgot that I was still plugged in. And try not to overcharge it, because it does not take too long to charge. Alright. Almost there. Come on. There it is. Ah, come on. And yeah, let's just leave that about there. Yeah, I'm gonna attach it because it's not gonna go around another round, which is perfectly fine. And let's see. Let's open this, put this to the side here, and see what is in this very, very stuffed envelope. Well, not that stuffed, but stuffed enough, as envelopes are to go. Also, was this already on here, or is this a stamp you have? Also, man, this is showing a bit more saturated than it actually is. That's interesting. Alright. You has cut through. Now I made the envelope puts. Oh, that is cute. Ah. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. You made them glittery. Thank you. That is kind of you. Also, holy crap. There's a lot of them. It should be good for a while in stickers. How many did you print? Okay. How many is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. About 16. Oh my god. These are lovely. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay, some holographic, some not, but majority holographic. That is so cool. Would fit on a page. Fair. Oh my gosh. All of these. But yeah, this is... You have... Yes, I have holographic and non-holographic, so this is actually immensely helpful. So I'd be able to pick out of, like, randomly 1 out of 3. Which is very, very awesome. Thank you! Oh my gosh. Also, man, this is cute. You really do very, very lovely card work. Oh my gosh, look at this. Christmas color, but I had to use it. Aww. I wanted to try. That came out lovely. Also, look at this ornament. This is really cute. Unfortunately, I do not have a tree to hang it on. We haven't had a tree in a couple of years, but oh, that's very sweet of you. This kind of reminds me, you know, of those, you know how they have those phone cases where it's like they have the little sparkly stuff like floating in whatever their gel liquid is? This is kind of what it reminds me of, minus the gel. Aww. I appreciate you. This is so sweet. 9 ladies dancing. It makes it... That works too. As you can see, I have many books to choose from. Many books to choose from. The good stuff. Also, let me make sure. I'm guessing it's like a couple of each. Also, if you see me screaming about this on Instagram, enjoy. Don't mind me. Oh my gosh. I really do like it. Because I don't think I've seen like the specific style where it's like, you know, they have like little round things and it's like, it looks kind of like the stars and planets. It's really, really cool. Oh my gosh. All the things. Which, now I'm gonna have to do something now that you've sent me all these things. Since I'm sending you stuff anyway, because I have a holographic sticker to send you. Obviously not one of these, because I would feel bad. Really? That's interesting to know. I personally have never printed my own stickers, so I had no clue that that's even a thing, but it makes sense. Because all I really know is like, you know, the little fine holographic, that's typically all I see. But there's a whole bunch of different types, so, I'm just gonna keep staring at those for a while. I'm like a child. It's terrible. No one is surprised, though. Absolutely no one is surprised. Let's see. Maybe one more round of... Oh, actually, it's almost... Wow. Those 15 minutes went quickly. So, let's see. Maybe... No, probably not one more round of hat, but... Definitely gonna at least get some hat. Before I disappear for the day. Also, unless you spilled it, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. If somehow someone decides to try and open this thing, which I don't think they should be able to, but you know. I'm like, that also means glitter everywhere. Which, you know, glitter doesn't go away. Also learned about, yeah, they usually have like the hexagon/octagon shapes, and then there's usually the little fine ones, and then it's crazy. Which, that reminds me of Forensic Files case, where that guy who keeps, like, you know, like a really huge collection of glitter. No clue if he's still alive. Because, you know, original Forensic Files was a while ago. But I remember that. Because it's just like, he had a glitter where it's like, it didn't sell well. So it was like, you know, pretty rare thing. And it was like, it got thrown in the victim's hair while she was at a party before all the things that went down. So it was like, it was a lucky break that they happened to have that glitter. But it's like, when it comes to things like that, you would not think that would be like, you know, a bunch of different types of it. Because, you know, it's not something most people would honestly think about, really. Should I? No, I should not, because I will just sit here and knit forever. Although, arguably, considering I had to get up and do stuff, me at least finishing this round is probably not a bad idea. Because it'll only take me a few more minutes, because, you know, 'tis stockinette. Jane, when's your next D&D? I'm curious. Which, did that go smoothly during the whole holiday stuff and things? Because I think you said you were doing it via, yeah, Discord on your phone. We almost... Sounds about right. Ah, yeah. Major boss fight. Yep, that would do it. Which I didn't realize until the next session is... Okay, so like once every 2 weeks? I'm guessing? But I'm guessing it was that Saturday, so you wouldn't have to do it literally on Christmas. So that makes sense. Which I didn't realize until I looked at the calendar that Christmas was Saturday this year. Which I'm not sure if I'll be streaming that day, but it's like, not sure I'll be doing anything at that point in time. I'll literally likely be sitting around and doing stuff. So, that day is kind of up in the air. Especially given the whole, hey, after that I likely won't be on for like 2-3 weeks afterwards. Given I like to take a break following. To help regroup and so on and so forth. Which, it's still crazy that we're even at this point of the year. I'm just like, wait, how are we here already? I'm thinking about that. And other stuff. Also, did everybody survive your boss fight? Okay, so stop here. We have about... I'd say 3-4 inches. Let's stretch that area out. About 3.5 inches of hat. So definitely made some progress today, given, you know, I started from the cast on and had to get up at least 2 or 3 times, so definitely got some work done. Jane, thank you again for all the stuff and the things. Cute. Alright, let's see. So, I'm gonna go put my face here. Also, thank you for the resub. Very much always appreciated. Base camera! Where the light's still blinding me. Which, that's hilariously on the lowest setting, and it's so goddamn blinding. Okay, that was weird. You briefly didn't have your badges. That was weird. Twitch, why are you doing things? Can we not? Alright, so also Weather Speed, which by the way, I have no idea how to say your name. I apologize if I butchered it, but thank you again for the follow. Hope you enjoyed hanging out with us. I will be on once again about Tuesday usual time. So Tuesday 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern. I was about to say Eastern Standard, but no, Eastern time. Because we're not in standard time anymore. No. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Hope you have a fun time, and I will see you again in a few days. Bye. Do.